Hey, welcome to the Overshare Pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I'm the host of this one-man show coming to you every Monday, 6 a.m. UK time. And today, as you can see from the title, I guess, we are delving back into like some music review, let's just say. And we have the third album, the most anticipated album, I think, one of the most anticipated albums of the year. The third studio album by Miss Olivia Rodrigo. You Look Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. And this is like, this third album came out actually quite a long time after the second one. It's not the usual 2-year cycle. This took, I think, almost 3 years to make, if I have to be honest. I think that's what it was, almost 3. But yeah, so I wanted to, like, everyone was like, waiting, anticipating this album. The rollout for this was quite interesting, I would say, in terms of like also singles and everything else. And there's been quite a lot of things like, being thrown around, interesting interviews that also, of course, mentioned Taylor Swift, and someone asked her again about the drama about this whole situation. So I just like mostly wanted to like delve into my I guess my general thoughts on the album, the songs, and what I think in general this could mean for her career, and what does it, position itself among the 3 albums that we have now. And also, I think, just in general, like, I would say how it's stacked, I guess, against my expectations on the album and what I was expecting from it. The album came out on Friday, so I haven't had that much time to like sit with it. So this is like, of course, a preliminary review of the album. Of course, my thoughts might change with time, and also, like the more you experience stuff in life and you associate stuff with a song and everything else, things will change. But yeah, just to say basically as a disclaimer, I guess, this is first of all my opinion, but also my first opinion on the album. Like, nothing's set in stone, anything can change. I'm just sort of reacting to what I've listened to. I've listened to the album quite a few times now, so I think I have like some form of thought that I can, easily put out in this episode without being necessarily too, again, attached to it, because I could very well, in the span of like a couple of weeks, change my mind about it. But let's get into it. So first of all, the first song we received from this was the first song that is actually on the album, which is Drop Dead, and that was the first offering that we received something like, a couple of months ago, and that was quite the song that I think it gave her another number 1 hit. And it was, she's, I think, one of the only, if not the only artist to have all of her 3 main singles debut as number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. So that's a major accomplishment, and the song definitely like was and has been pretty popular. It is at the moment the most streamed song that she has. But what I do find, I guess, quite interesting is the following single, which I really enjoyed in terms of like lyrics and everything, but in terms of like momentum and like hype for the album, I think it was a bit of a weird choice maybe. And it was The Cure. Beautiful song, beautiful lyrics, beautiful concept as well, but I'm not sure if it was the strongest offering from this. He could have had something different as a second single. And then with the album that came out, we just also had a third single, which is Stupid Song. So yeah, we had pretty interesting, stuff, like the interesting singles with this. And I do think also the marketing for leading up to the album was quite fun, like the wall being repainted so many times, and shading, like going from like the purple shade that has been her brand as of now to the pink that is supposed to be the signifying color for this era, I guess. So yeah, what did I think of Drop Dead? Because that's also the intro to the album. I think, to be honest, like with the context of the album, I think it's a great intro song in a way, because it's like sort of kickstarting the love story that is this album is based on. Basically, her, of course, very public relationship with Louis Partridge, and famous also they've broken up before the release of this album. So yes, but Drop Dead was, I would say it was a good single. My first thought when I first heard it was that, to me personally, it reminded me quite a lot of Chapel Roan, and I know they have the same producer, Dan Nigro. I know that. I know also that Chapel Roan was initially giving background vocals to Olivia's album, in the first album she made. But I think sonically, it really reminded me a lot of like Chapel, but also a lot of course, of Olivia, and specifically like the bridge. It reminded me a lot of the like sonics and the guitar and electric guitars that were a lot in the previous album, Guts. Overall, I think this album, really used this track very well, because I mean, probably this is like probably the only song on this album that is quite positive. Like, there's no negativity, like no anxiety, I guess, attached to this, the better word, attached to this song. And I mean, to explain with the forward and everything else, that the collection of songs on this are all in some shape or form love songs, but they're all accompanied by this like specific anxiety and sadness that is actually quite common in like any form of relationship and love in general. But this is truly the only, I would say, probably on this album, the only song that communicates just like pure excitement without any anxiety behind it. And it was a very catchy song, a true pop hit in that sense, and it was very, very memorable. But I did think, out of all the singles that we've received, that it was my least favorite. Like, Vampire was so good. I really, really enjoyed Vampire quite a lot when it first came out. I couldn't stop listening to it. This one I liked, and I do like a lot specifically the bridge of the song, the Pisces one, like Pisces and a Gemini. That part I really, really enjoyed, and I do like the instrumentalist, but again, it reminded me too much of like Chapel Run, but also pretty much a lot of the previous work that Olivia put out in terms of like sounds and like sonics and instruments and everything else. But it was good. It was a good song, and it was a different vibe, I guess, in terms of lyrics. In terms of sounds, not so much, but in terms of lyrics, it was a new avenue, I guess, for Olivia to like be super positive in terms of like theme and lyrics. It's basically like a full-on love song, like specifically crushing over someone and becoming obsessed with someone. Very relatable, like stalking you on the internet and like already envisioning the entire thing spanning before my eyes and everything else. Like, it's very, very relatable. Really, so that's that. Stupid Song is like a good continuation, I think, from what we got on this on the first song. So that was that's still, I think, a good love song that seems to then get, at the end of it, like slowly descending into madness a bit. Like the whole thing is basically like dedicating a stupid love song to someone that you like, basically, right? Like you listen to a stupid love song and it reminds you of this person, and so you associate that song with them. I want you more than any stupid song could ever say. Walking through the park with my head high past all the college girls. She talks a lot about like her. It sounds like the rush that Olivia has, in the sense like to try and go see this person. Maybe it's like the first few times that they've like started dating and whatever, but like she feels this very strong emotion. And there's already signs in it, like lyrically in this, like 7 nights alone and a skipped meal. I'm sleeping in my dress and my high heels, and I'm just trying to say what I see when I dream of you. You're stuck in the dark and my clothes are caught aflame. You should feel how I feel when somebody says your name. It's just like such a great, so many great images. That's the third line, I think, throughout the entire album. So her lyrics in this album are, I think, some of the best that she's ever done. So good, so many great images. I'm a heart made of wax and I'm melting in the sun. I'm a thread on your shore that is coming undone. I feel right, I feel wrong, I feel totally insane. So it's like sort of like descending, like this it continues on, I guess, from the first song about like, you know, being so obsessed with this person, but it's sort of like she's like self-conscious in terms of like, you know, how mad this love for this person is making her feel, basically. So it's like this very big yearning track that follows perfectly, I guess, from Drop Dead. Now, Honeybee, really love the melody here, like specifically, it's a cute like lullaby song, basically, like a very nice piano lullaby song, very cute, very good in message, and it's like sonically sounds like another another piano ballad, I guess, that Olivia became very famous for. A very memorable production, I guess, here. And so like in the theme of the song, in that sense, like she just is professing her love. It's like sort of like a lullaby, like confession of love, I guess, to the person that she likes. I love you, baby, I promise, and I hope I never see what your face looks like going. Wait, what your face looks like going. A face I swear that I could spend my whole life knowing. Here's to open, pick me up, walk me home. Man, it feels like God threw me a bone. So basically, it's like a very sweet and innocent, I guess, song, and like full of wishes and hopes for this relationship. And so yeah, I really like this one. I really like the melody in that. And you know, it's like there's some form of like first anxiety in this as well, that is like sort of, you know, hoping that this things could never go wrong, things will never go wrong, and everything else. So it's a very good continuation. I think that the track list, in the sense, like, is very, very nice. All of these songs are, as she explains, are also, of course, all about this specific person, but I think all of them are very introspective and very like all about what she feels rather than what he feels specifically about her, except for I think the last one, in Cigarette Smoke. We never truly like see a side of the thing. It's like she's really you know, I mean, Olivia Rodrigo is a confessional songwriter, so she's gonna talk mostly about what she feels, of course. And so when we get to Maggots for Brains, that's the first time she like gets separated from him, like either he's away or whatever it is. Like, just a simple separation between the two of them makes her go insane, basically. Like, you know, makes her have maggots for brains. And just like she says, like, that's just the thing that happens when my baby goes away, whenever he's so there's like very anxious attachment, I guess. It's like what is really, I guess, coming out of this album a lot, that Olivia's struggling a lot with like a very anxious attachment that she has to this person specifically she's been dating. And you know, she says, like, I'm a zombie in my body, I'm a train off the track, I feel dirty, I feel rotten, and the colors are all flat. I'm a Sasha, I love a woman, and I've got maggots for brains, but that's just the thing that happens when my baby goes away. Like, great lyrics, incredible lyrics, just so good. This is one of my favorite songs, by the way, on the album, Maggots for Brains. So good. I think production-wise, this is like also reminding me so much of Pretties and Pretty. I think the whole album sort of has a lot of elements in common with Pretties and Pretty in terms of production wise. There's also like a couple of songs on here that sound very like early 2000, very in some ways, some shape or form, like Avril Lavigne influence as well, or like, yeah, I think like very early 2000, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of that in some production of some of these songs, but mostly like the vibe and the production style is very similar to like Pretties and Pretty. This like soft rock type of production, and very dreamy production in that sense. Like, then she goes into like you plus me equals a heart, and that's like, you know, where you truly start to understand that something is up in a way. Like, you know, I think the conclusion of this album is that basically, like, and Olivia gets into that when she gets into the song called The Cure, but it really seems like while the love is like that she feels for this person is like so intense and so pure and so direct, there's always this like dread behind every single time she feels these emotions, because like deep down she tries to place, I guess, like her sanity and her well-being on the relationship rather than herself. So like the relationship becomes sort of like a proxy for her to like feel good, quote unquote, and then therefore she becomes like so anxiously attached to this person because she thinks that that's the only time she can feel good, and that's it. And of course this is the recipe for disaster, because as things move on, she realizes that, and like he realizes that as well, and the relationship becomes like off balanced a bit, and there's no it becomes too too unstable and toxic in a way, I guess I would say, yes, to stay with this person. But anyways, so in U plus me equals heart, I think she goes into like this very interesting I think it's like common image that you see a lot, like in the woods and like, or in parks, where people just like draw hearts, like carve hearts on a tree, and like they put their names and everything else. Like it's like declaration of love, and trying to like make a sign in the world that is indelible, like that your love is basically eternal, right? So I really like the way the song opens. Like she says, like, I think you're a killer with your floppy hair. Take me out to dinner. You can take me anywhere. And all my girlfriends roll their eyes and tell me to take it slow this time. But I got a feeling wounds are healing. Talking on the phone. I know everybody changes, but I hope that we don't. Cover our names into the car seat leather. You plus me equals a heart forever. So like, again, there's this like very anxious attachment to this thing. Like that, it's very common, to be honest. I think that's a very relatable sentiment. Like that you wish that the person you're dating is gonna be it, like it's gonna be the one and only, and there's gonna be the end game basically. But it's just like sort of be all and all attachment that really drives her, I guess, like insane, and makes her feel at the same time super super low when she should be feeling again very very happy and very joyous about this relationship. So like she goes also into the second verse is actually very interesting, where she tries to like approach his sister, her boyfriend's sister, and like she has the same face, and I try to win her over with my cynical humor and yacht rock music taste. And all my ex-boyfriends have heard these lines. Let's get married when we were 25, but I like you better by a million times. And I got a feeling that's the chorus. Yeah, I got a feeling wounds are healing. Talking on the phone, I know everybody changes, but I hope that we don't. So like she would like to stay in this like honeymoon phase with this person forever, and she wants their heart, like their love, to be forever as well. And the bridge is like where she, I guess, like starts descending into again like realizing sort of like how overwhelmed she is. So I'm like overwhelmed, way too far ahead of myself. I often get the feeling that I'll never want somebody else. And then they say mother love's a cruel endeavor. I really like this one. They say mother love's a cruel endeavor, and to that I say fuck it, whatever. It's such a good line as well. So I guess like she's really realizing that her attachment is so strong, and she gets super like she was saying in the preamble for this album that like every single love song here, it sort of has a weird, anxious and sad feeling to it, and it's like sort of coming through this song very well. Then she goes into My Way, and that's I guess people were saying online that it's like better than Revenge Sister, and I totally see that. Like it's sort of this time around the anxiety that is like accompanying this love and this relationship is the possible presence, whether it's real or not. It's definitely in Olivia's head. In Olivia's periphery is the presence of other women or other girls who could be interested in him, who could be a threat. So basically it's like, for example, you're in my way now, don't go where you don't belong, think I can make out, how are you and gone, kind of insane how you keep calling but you never get the message, it goes my way now. It's like definitely like a better than Revenge sister in that sense. It's like yeah. Man, I wonder what you think that she addresses this girl, for example, is gonna go down. You send him another poem, and I think that he'll let me go. Or maybe you're just trying to get me riled up now. You're posting another pic and clothes that I know are his. Well, here's a map of the lines I drew, and some girl steps over, and the girl is you. You're in my way now. So, I guess another very relatable song to be extra jealous about other people and trying to get your man. So yeah, Slayful. Then we have Purple. Purple, I really enjoyed. I like the image of it. I really like the, basically by the by a single kiss, he altered basically her future in a way, or her lifeline in a way. Like their two lifelines coincided and they became a circle, and it's just like he's red and you're red and my blue. Everything in purple now because their lives have melted together, and it's now impossible for her to like differentiate between what's his and what's hers, and like how their lives are separate while they feel so interlinked to her, at least. So she goes over like things like now a toothbrush, a coat, and a pair of shoes all come in doubles. Like it's like sort of starting to realize that being a couple also means like sharing so much, and your lives become basically like intertwined for, or at least in what she thought would be forever. So yeah, I mean, I'm also liking a lot of the terms that she uses in this. Like now I'm all consumed. Like still like referring to this sort of feeling of madness that is like insanity with love, basically. And for example, the outro, like she does a melt with you till it all turns black. Are we so in love? Are we too attached? Melt with you till it all turns black. When you smooth it out, but it feels too flat. So yeah, I mean, like again, I think. I said it before, there's a lot of elements here that always point to like some form of very anxious and obsessive attachment with this person. And I think she also realizes that in a way, and she questions that quite a lot. Is like, are we actually too attached though? Is there something like too toxic about being so codependent on you and everything else? So, I mean, again, this is like another love song in a way, but that's like more introspective and reflective on our own behaviors rather than him specifically. Then again, The Cure is like the real turning point, I guess, in a way, because I think all these anxieties that she's had before in the previous tracks really culminated in this, where she fully realizes basically that all these anxieties specifically don't come necessarily from like the relationship or him, but they are from her unsolved insecurities, basically. And she says like it's a very, very interesting song in terms of concept and lyrics as well, that she would, she's been told, like she's been sold this dream her whole life that love would fix it all and love would be the ultimate cure to all of her problems. And then she soon realizes that, I mean, after she gets into a relationship, that all these anxieties about like other girls and herself and her attachment style and everything else that I've explored in the past few songs, they are not because of their relationship or because of him or because they're not maybe good together necessarily, like they're not gonna match, but it's more like she is not over certain things, certain ideas that she has in her mind. Like she has a lot of insecurities that she hasn't worked on properly, and she thought by getting into this relationship she would get rid of all of them, but of course, as it turns out, that's not the cure. So very good, very, very, I mean, I keep on saying it, but the writing on this album is just so good. And then, because of this realization that she has about herself, she goes into Bagged instead, right after it, which is like, I guess another ballad. Like there's quite a few ballads, I think, in this album that are quite, poignant in terms of like describing her lows, and this is another one of them. I would say, like, to be honest, like even The Cure is a ballad in a way, but this is like proper like slow tempo ballad. And I think this is the first time she realized that she's unsatisfied with the relationship, because like she doesn't feel fulfilled by the love because she has to beg for it. And I think it's sort of starting to like make a clear picture that because of how attached she is to this person, the only time she fully feels loved by him is when she has to beg him to stay. I mean, no relationship should, to be honest, feel like you have to beg people to do things for you. They should come easy and they should all be that. But I mean, again, we don't really know much of his side of the story, and even in this exploration of the story of the song, it's more generally described as like her begging for his love. We don't get any specific instances, I guess. So like she's saying, like, for example, all that I want is to sit here silently and watch movies on TV. What a shame you're not here to witness my devotion and my endless well of needs. I'm an anchor in the ocean. You're not could never leave. So I'm patient. You're learning. Pretend it's not hurting. They say it's a virtue to not let good love slip away. So I'm cool and forgiving. I'll take what you are giving. But nothing's quite enough when I know that. To get it, I begged. So it's sort of like, you know, it's a clash between her wanting to be, you know, attached to this person very much so, and you know, be in their presence, while he's sort of becoming avoidant in a way. And she talks about devotion, which is very interesting. Like, she's so devoted to his love that she, like, you know, she's starting to, like, you know, go a bit AWOL basically, and get too introspective into her own world eventually. But yeah, I mean, there's like definitely a big crack in their relationship. But again, then we get an internal exploration of herself with what's wrong with me. And I think this song like is good in terms of sound and lyrics as well, but I think sometimes it's a bit too vague. I mean, I guess that's sort of the point with a song, because like she doesn't know exactly what's wrong with her in a way, and like she's sort of trying to get to the bottom of it with this song. But so she says, like, I'm just staring at the ceiling, can describe this feeling I've got in my head. I'm out of body in my bed, and I'm just searching out my symptoms, desperate to fix them. I'll do anything, because lately I've been spiraling. I'm not feeling like myself, and nothing ever seems to help. Went to the doctor, and then she said I was fine, but every movie that I see makes me cry. It's like somebody put a weight on my chest. So, you know, like, say I'm in love, so it's hard to admit. I can eat, I can sleep. I think you're what's wrong with me. So, again, this is sort of like conflating the two issues, and like sort of, I guess, not being too intensely in love with someone and wanting their love so desperately that you start getting extremely depressed when you're deprived of it. And in a way, again, there's not much exploration here on what specifically and what instances brought her to, like, you know, feeling so desperate for his attention, whether it's like actually fully his fault, or like whether it's like mostly coming from her insecurities or something. Maybe it's a mixture of both, who knows. But again, like, he's trying to put a finger on like what is the issue here, and she cannot quite comprehend. I think she said, like, well, basically she's like, I think the issue is you. You're making me go mad basically. And then we get into Last, which is, I think, my second maybe favorite song on this, another ballad here. Such a good one. And this is like sort of like the breakup song, I think, here, because then the last two songs are a bit more like her exploring other options after breaking up, or like, you know, dating again. And then Cigarette Smoke is sort of like first directed song at him, with the feelings that she has against him, and then why she thinks the relationship went to an end, and like what she thinks he has done wrong, basically. But Last is basically the proper breakup track on this album, and, you know, it's like going through all the emotions, and it's a very bittersweet song, because in a way, like, their breakup happens in the song in a way that it's done technically because they both love each other so much. But she says, like, you know, if loving me means letting go and wishing me the best, then I guess I wish you love me less, basically. Which is such a sad song, to be honest. Like, this is definitely not a love song, which is fine, because I mean there needs to be like a low, unfortunately, here. And this is it. I really really like the production here, and the lyrics quite a lot. So she says, like, for example, in another verse, she says, like, we tried to recreate our favorite date, but we didn't laugh much this time. Our trip to Big Sur only confirmed this isn't what it should feel like, and maybe I'm a stubborn overthinker, but I've been thinking over this a lot, and I could try convincing you they're just intrusive thoughts. But you've seen me truly happy, so you know right now I'm not. If loving me means crying on the curb at LAX, well then I guess I wish you'd love me less. Like, so sad. And even when the way that the song ends is like so sad. It's like she ends like something like, if loving me means saying, babe, I think this is the end, well I guess I wish you loved me less. I'm like, girl, please no. Again, incredible songwriting, like very very good. I think that's like where she shines a lot. It's like her confessional elements are so clear. Like, she has such a great awareness of what she's feeling and how she can also, I guess, explicate how she's feeling in the moment. So like, she's very good at analyzing her emotions and describing them, I guess, describing her feelings, which is not that easy to do, to be quite honest with you. So hey, great stuff. The Expectation is such a fun song. I think this should have been like the second single, if I have to be honest, because it's such a fun song. We have one of the rare upbeat moments in this album, and this is basically her, I would assume, after they broke up, trying to like go out and dating again, and like trying to learn from her mistakes. Maybe she's like, met him at a party. I think he was on drugs. He wasn't as smart or funny. I convinced myself he was, and he had a great apartment and a car his parents bought. I thought he was perfect, and now his numbers blocked. Took a couple of months, but now I'm secure. I'm so evolved. Now ask for more and more and more and more. I won't settle for a guy with a fake job. They seem so desperate for loving, but maybe I'm not. Give my heart with zero stipulations. Now I take careful consideration. I'm not kissing any boy that is passive. Their indecision is painfully unattractive. So it's sort of like, it's very current, I guess. Well, I guess like to have a very high bar and like have very high expectations, specifically after being wronged by very stupid men that you should have never dated from the beginning. So it's, I guess, also low key, also ironic because I mean, she promises she's not gonna do all these things, but she's still, gone through all these I hate a new year like a single girl at a Vegas bar, rocking my mini dress with a vodka cran and an open heart. She got hope, it's like trying to like start to love again, but with like new higher expectations, trying like feeling like you've learned so much when maybe in practice you haven't really. You might do the same mistakes. Maybe that's what it's giving. It's a very fun song, and I think it's very relatable. And I think this should have been maybe the second single. That's all I'm saying. And then we end with Cigarette Smoke, which is like probably the longest song she's ever put out. It's 5 minutes 40 seconds, and this is, as I said, her addressing him, specifically the guy, and sort of being, I guess you could say this is like almost her Dear John in a way, like, wishing that she could get all the time she spent with this guy back so that she could heal him and avoid, I guess, the mishappening with this one. So like it's very very interesting. She goes like through a lot of things, like I regret you and how long I stayed. I resent you for not being brave. So she sort of addresses the fact that she wishes he would have been a bit more active in this relationship and a bit less withdrawn. The memories turn dark, so she's addressing the fact that like after we break up now, all the past experiences they've shared together get stained in a way. and she's like, you said that I made loving look easy till I made it hard. Give me back my time and I will give you back your heart. I thought that we played the perfect couple till you didn't want to part. Some nights can be so fucking lonely, but it's better than begging for you to stand up for me. So yeah, that's very, very sad, to be honest. It seems like more like also a very incompatible place. Like, he didn't fight for this relationship. She thinks that he didn't fight for this relationship in the end, and that's part of also the reason why they broke up. Although I think from the rest of the album, it sort of seems like she also takes accountability for being very insecure and very hard to deal with sometimes because of how anxious she is about attachments and everything else. So I mean, great song here, great lyrics as well. This is sort of like her fuck you song to the guy. So very, very cool. But yeah, these are the songs. I mean, this is like a slayful time. What are my overall thoughts on the album? I think, as I said multiple times, this album has some of the best songwriting she's ever, put out. Very, very proud of it. She's super good. I think she's at the top of her game when it comes to like her pen and her writing. Although, and I mean, again, there are a few favorites here that I will definitely listen to, but I also want to maybe bring out the not so good at feelings that I have towards the album in a way. I like the album quite a lot in terms of themes, in terms of, like I said, writing, and it's really, really cool to delve into these songs. But I think, at least from my preference and my expectation, and I'm gonna probably get killed for saying this, but I wish some of the songs would be a bit more like different in sound, maybe, and it would have like a bit of more of a catchier hook. I think she really focused on the writing, which is really, really good. I mean, she's showing a lot of strength in her writing here, which is really, really good. But I think what's missing for me from this album is the pop perfection, the pop hook, I've listened to this album so many times, and maybe it's again just my preference in terms of pop music and everything else, but I have a hard time remembering what the songs sound like and what how the song a song goes and everything else. So it makes it harder for me to like revisit the album because I literally don't know where to begin. And I'm not thinking about the melody of any of the songs, which I think is a shame because again the writing is so good in here. So I mean, again, please don't kill me for this. It's just my opinion. It's just like a preference. And I do think another critique I have is that I was expecting this to be a strong departure from her previous albums in terms of sounds, and even the fact that she named the album differently. Like, it's not like a single word for the title, and she changed the color scheme and everything else. And she did also talk about how this album to her feels much more adventurous for her. I think she could have taken more swings in terms of production and in terms of sounds, and to me just feels like again a continuation of the previous two albums in terms of soundscapes. I mean, I'm not saying it sounds exactly like the other two albums, it definitely doesn't, but at the same time I think it still feels too similar to the previous one. And I mean, I guess you could counter argue and say, well, that's the Olivia Rodrigo sound. I was like, yes, but like, how much can we take? How much? Personally, I mean, if I look at some great pop stars and like pop singers in that sense, I think it's important to also explore a bit more, especially when you're like so early in your career that you can afford collaborating and experimenting and being adventurous when it comes to that. So I guess my thing is, the Nigro, great producer. I mean, he's definitely like a hit maker, as we've seen from Chapo Roman as well. But I wished she had a bit more of a variety of producers with her. I think I would like to it's a bit more variety, I guess. That's the thing I'm saying. And this is sort of the same initial thought I had for Guts, but I did come around it in the sense of like understanding that Guts was sort of like a continuation in the Sour universe in that sense. It was like a honed up version of Sour, basically, like a more carefully curated version of that. But I would see like when she sort of seemingly started to shift with this album in terms of aesthetic and everything else, I thought it was going to be a bit different and a bit more out there, or like not necessarily like experimental. I'm talking more about just different production, different style and everything else. Like, this sounds so crazy, but I would say like a party in the USA type of production or something like that would be so cool for her, but we'll see. Anyways, just a wish of mine. And I think also another thing that I really find puzzling as well was the styling for this album. I know there's been a huge discourse about how she's dressing up for some of the live performances. Like, she's wearing this massive, like, this like baby gown or like a baby dress or something like that. Like, it looks like a child's dress. Like, it's so mini skirt. Like, it's a one piece, but it's like so mini that it looks like she's wearing a baby's dress. Like, it just looks weird to me. And I mean, again, people have said many different things. It's like, oh, this is like, you're looking too much into it. It's not that. And like, you're she can wear whatever she wants and all the stuff. She can show legs if she wants, but it's not that. Like, it just looks odd. I don't know. Maybe it's just my reaction to it that I just didn't really like. And I think also, while it's definitely different from like the combat boots and everything else, it's because it's still Petra Collins, I think, in a way, giving her these aesthetics. They still feel part of the same thing. And I also wish she did a bit more with her hair. Like, something different, something change, like a little change. I think she could kill a bob. I think she could kill a little bang, like some bangs. She could kill that as well. I don't know, something different. I think I would have liked also, that is what it is, a different visual for this album. And part of it is there, like with the Versailles thing, but again, I wish it wasn't like the baby dress. That really was like, what is going on? Like, why does it look like that? Why is it like, I don't know. I didn't like it personally. That's not in my taste. I didn't really enjoy it. I think she could have looked more interesting. I think I like the idea of like, these like loafers with white socks that she was wearing, like this very French look as well that she had in some of the pictures and outtakes, even in the cover art, to be honest. I would have liked to see more of that, but we didn't, and it's fine. That's okay. But overall, I mean, this is definitely, I think, again, my two thoughts are basically that this is her best writing to date, but maybe not the most pop album that she's made. And I think while people really enjoy the lyricism and everything else, like, if I'm in a specific mood to like really get into lyrics or like really get into ballads and everything else, I'll definitely stream this album. But I think I'm missing from this cycle like undeniable smash hit, memorable, moment, like a Good For You, or like what was it called? The one from Guts. Yes, I know that he's my ex. Can two people reconnect? I only see him. Bad idea, right? Like, or, All American Bitch. Like, all these, like, very, like, catchy songs that really hook you in and make you remember the album. This, I'm like, sonically, I'm really struggling to attach myself to at the moment, and like even in terms of like melodies and everything else. I think her pen is lethal, and this album is really, really good. Some incredible lyrics, some incredible passages. I mean, I've read you some of the lyrics in this episode, but yes, that's those are my thoughts. Now, I'm giving it over to like the sponsor, and then we're gonna get into songs of the week. So Stay tuned. Okay, before we get back into the episode, I need to talk to you about something very important for the summer specifically. If you've been in the market, I guess, for new sunglasses or optical frames, you have to take a look at Aquila. It's Akila. They're an independent eyewear brand based in LA that focuses on handmade limited run frames, so you're not seeing the same styles everyone else is wearing. What specifically stood out to me is the attention to detail and the fact that they also use plant-based acetate and lightweight titanium, and their titanium frames have this very specific contoured S-curve design that actually flexes and molds your face, making them really comfortable for everyday wear. And they also have a full optical collection, and every pair comes standard with blue light blocking lenses. Plus, if you need prescription, they can fit those into any frame as well. I like that they're focused on quality materials and thoughtful design rather than chasing the trends, as you can see from many ads on Instagram and other social media. But the frames come in a wide range of styles as well, colors, lens options, and whether you're looking for something like understated or something more flashy and with more personality, they have it all. Acetate frames starts at $160 specifically. Titanium frames start at $220, and Aquila is offering listeners the best discount they have available. If you use the code Overshare Pamphlet, you will get 15% off your order. And just to be completely transparent, I also earn a commission through this, so you will be sponsoring the podcast by using the code. So if you just go to aquila.la, that's akila.la, and use the code Overshare Pamphlet, you will get 15% off. So yes, just, it's never too late to buy sunglasses, especially now that it's the summer season. Get into that very quickly. And we're about to finish off the episode with Songs of the Week. Again, you can find the songs specifically on the Overshare Pamphlet Songs of the Week June 2026 on Spotify. It's a playlist that I make every month. I make a new one, and this one is June 2026 because the songs that I'm talking about are songs that I've been listening to this month. So continuing on from last week, I have 4 songs to talk about. First off is Revenge by Meow. I talked about Dittery in the previous episode. This is from the same EP, but the song has become a favorite of mine. It's a very R&B song, and it's basically like, taking your revenge on your ex, teaching you, it's just like, I'm talking about revenge. I had to do this again, but damn, you made me do it. You taught me about revenge, I'll teach you all again. So you taught me about revenge, and I'll teach you all again. It's not a happy ending. So good, girl, so good. Just love the production a lot. It's very like quiet and typical R&B ballad, to be honest. But I think it's mostly like the vocal delivery of the girls and the vocal runs that they do here, and it's a bleep bloopy song, which is very, very cool, very dreamy in that sense. Production very synthy and R&B, so love it. If that's your vibe, this is it. Then I have So Cold by Balu Brigada. This song is incredible. I've discovered this artist literally this week, and there's so many good songs on this album specifically. But this song is very, very cool. It's I think it's the most streamed song that they have at the moment, probably. Like, I think they have something like 95 million streams on this one. And it's definitely like a 21 Pilots inspired number as well. They have a music video for this, and they have the main singer of the band in a red jumpsuit playing bass in his Hawkland bedroom. It's a very simple clip that went super viral, I think. I don't know if you guys are into that, like if you've seen this around, but So Cold specifically was inspired by the complexities of modern dating, Beasley Brothers described it as realizing that what seems like mystique in attraction can often be someone being elusive. The song captures basically the confusion and mixed signals that come with navigating relationships specifically. The song is very like, indie rock band, very, very cool, but it's so, such a cool guitar riff in the song. It's just like very, very slick, and I definitely recommend listening to this. Then we have Sleep When We're Dead. This is like very fun song. I think it should be a great addition to your summer playlist if you want to give it a go. Don't know much about Thomas Day, completely new to him specifically, but I think the song came out in 2025. But that, this was a great song about like, excitement about a relationship and like, wanting to like do so many things, and you don't have time to sleep. You sleep when you're dead. You do all the things you want to do with this person immediately. And I think it's a very catchy song, very, very fun, very summery bop. I definitely recommend giving it a listen. And of course, as I said, Maggots for Brains. It's my favorite song from the new Olivia Rodrigo album. She's gonna be on that, and I think I might also include sneak fifth song. I will also include Less in there because, yeah, I mean you've heard my thoughts on them, and you can go stream them if you don't want to listen to the entire album. These two are my outtakes that I really, really think you should listen to. Very, very good. And that's it. Long episode today, man, but I hope you check it out, and I hope I'll see you again next week. Bye.